another exciting episode of Talking Points with me, Papri Das. Our guest today reiterates the line, life begins at 40. And his life is nothing short of a filmy plot taken from a movie like Rock On. From successfully leading BBH India as its CEO to being the lead singer in a rock band, Subhash Kamath sure knows how to do it in style. Welcome to our show, sir.
My pleasure.
So tell me, how do you balance being a rock star as well as a CEO, a boss? How do you balance it?
Well, I'm not a rock star. I just play in a band and we get a chance to play a few gigs every now and then, mostly with friends from the industry. And it's great fun, right? So I wouldn't call myself a rock star. And advertising is what I've done for the last 29, 30 years. So that's the only thing I know how to do.
Usually what happens is you start a band in college and then work comes and you leave it behind. But for you, the order was kind of the other way around.
No, it exactly happened that way. I used to play a bit of music with friends in college. Then after one started working, music took a backseat. We were all busy climbing the corporate ladder, as to say. For many years, hardly touched my guitar, apart from maybe playing with a few friends once in a while. Never really took music seriously. And then about 8-10 years ago, when I was at Bates, there was a big industry event for the ad club. And they were going to award people under 30. It was a Young Achievers Awards. And they came up with this idea that let's have two bands. One band of people under 30 versus one band of people above 30 as part of the entertainment. And I don't know how, but somebody called me and said, look, I heard you play the guitar, why don't you put a band together? I laughed because I hadn't been on stage for 25 years. But my colleague and partner, Rajiv Raja, is a brilliant flutist and a musician. And when I asked him, this is the request that's coming, he said, yeah, let's do it, because he was very enthusiastic. And there was another friend, Prabhakar Munkur, who was the CEO of Percent. And he is an amazing lead guitarist and a good friend. So we three got together and we called a few more people and we put a band together in literally 2 days.
What do you call it?
We didn't call ourselves anything that time. And we had just one rehearsal because it was just a 15-20 minute performance for each band, 3-4 songs. And we picked up some popular numbers and we just rehearsed it once and we went up on stage. But everybody loved it, and it was great fun, playing for your own friends in the industry. And that's how it started. And then somebody else called us for, Mudra had a reunion of ex-Mudra people at the Taj Lands, and they said, can we come, you guys come and play? We played for an hour. Then there was an advertising book launch in Delhi. And the people from agency FAQs called up and said, would you guys like to play for our event? And I said, yeah, okay. That's how it started. And mostly we played for our own industry friends at events. And then one day we decided, what would it be if we played it for the public? And there's a small bar here in Bandra, a very nice place called Bonobo. And we did our first performance at the Bonobo. Very small place. But some 200-300 people landed up from the industry, so it was like very crowded. And then our friend Mahesh Mathai, who owns Blue Frog, heard about it and he says, how come you haven't played at the Blue Frog? And he gave us a date at the Blue Frog. And after that we've been playing every few months, and it's just becoming,
How do you plan up a rehearsal, like jamming time? Because everybody needs to be available at that time, right?
That's the most difficult part. Yeah, because 3-4 of my bandmates are professional musicians, so they are playing and traveling all the time. They're very, very accomplished musicians. And if they're not in town, then you can't rehearse. But somehow we managed to get at least about 3 or 4 rehearsals before a gig.
What is the band called now, and what kind of music do you play?
Well, we call ourselves Want It Yesterday. It's an old advertising cliche because clients' deadlines are always wanted yesterday. And since we come from advertising, and at the same time we play a lot of retro music, which is classic rock and blues. And therefore the band name kind of fits in beautifully.
Your musical influence, your passion for music, has it come forth in your work as well?
Oh, absolutely. My love for music and my passion has helped me in many ways. When we brainstorm on a particular piece of work, how to make it better, I can input on that. If somebody has created a great sound, I'm able to understand that better and evaluate it better. When you see how music or sound can be used as part of the narrative and how to make the brand's voice more distinctive, all of that is a tremendously exciting thing to do if you like music. And in advertising, I've come across some amazingly talented musicians who've become friends now over the years. And it's a pleasure to just watch them create something.
When you think about all the organizations you have worked with so far, what do you think of as your highlights?
I would say it's been a pretty long career, and I've worked with, 5 organizations in about close to 30 years now. I've had high points at different stages of my career in different organizations. When I first started off at Ogilvy, I was a young trainee, absolutely eager and passionate and everything to learn. I had a great boss in Piyush Pandey, who was my immediate boss. He's the one who hired me. It was not just about the work, it was also about, we did things together. There were picnics, there were movie clubs, there was trekking clubs. I was part of the cricket team. Ogilvy was one big family in those days, and I really took to it like a fish to water. So I would certainly hold my first 3 years as a high point. I also had a lot of high points working for an amazingly creative agency called Trikaya, which became Trikaya Grey, and now it's called Grey. They sent me to Calcutta office. It was for me like going back home to Calcutta where I grew up. I was just a senior AE that time, but in a small office where there are only 4 or 5 people, you tend to do everything, okay? So everything from choosing the color of the waste paper basket to making presentations, meeting clients. It's just 5-7 of us working from a room. Now that experience again is something that is very unique. Then years later, I also was sent as the head of an office at a very young age of 29. And I was made the branch head of Bangalore, which was a very different high. For the first time, I had to learn management and leadership skills. Everybody looked to you for solutions. The client saw you as a person in the corner office. I think that was a big change point in my life, and possibly one of the most successful periods, I would say, because we won every pitch we walked into. We did some great campaigns, and then years later, when I became a CEO for the first time, which is again a completely different experience.
What has been your experience of working with Bartle Vogel Hegarty?
They are absolute legends in the business, aren't they? Nigel Vogel and John Hegarty have been 2 people I've admired for I don't know how many years now, even before I joined the organization. They are amazingly inspirational people. They have built something which, can only be admired as one of the best brands in the world. And even today, they are into their 60s. The kind of passion and intensity that they bring to any discussion or job has to be seen to be believed. I mean, if at that age I have even 10% of that passion and that intensity, I'd be a happy man.
Which ones do you look back to and say that have been very challenging for you to come up with those ads?
I have a saying that every ad is attention. There's attention to crack every ad, and you're as good as your last campaign. Yeah. Even if you've done a brilliant campaign 10 years ago, the next brief that comes to you still gives you that tension. Okay, there is no formula that you can rely on. It's not mechanical. It's a creative business. You still want to crack something which is more exciting, persuasive, motivating. You don't want to do something which every other competitor has done. You want to make it stand out. You want to make it memorable. So which has been most challenging? I would say every single ad that I've worked on has been very, very challenging.
Are you a believer in awards for agency marketing awards?
Yeah, of course. I think awards are great. I think creativity and great ideas should always be recognized and rewarded. What I'm against is this business of scam. which is happening unfortunately in our industry across many awards. People are creating work that no consumer sees, and it's just being created to win awards, and that's something I can't stand, and I'll always be against. And at BBH we don't do it, so we only work on real problems, create real work, and if that real work gets an award, I'll be the happiest.
Can you give us an example of such a scam happening?
Or just go to any awards website, and 90% of the work you see in print and outdoor would be scam. It is. It's become a malaise of our industry. It's not just me saying it. Haggerty says it. So many people say it. It's even at Cannes, a large part of the work is scam.
When you started off with advertising, I don't think digital was that big. No,
it wasn't there. I come
wasn't.
from the prehistoric times when people used to read just print ads. We used to send messages across cities through telex and telegrams. I'm not joking. That's the way it was.
So from there to now that digital is such a big medium, so how have you adapted to it?
The first thing you have to do to understand the digital medium is to be part of it. You can't study it, you have to use it. So I think when cell phones first came, there was a lot of talk of, why do you need a cell phone? We have a phone at home, we have a phone in office, this is an intrusion and all that. But today, I can't imagine what I would have done without a cell phone. I've got my music on an iPod and on my phone. I've got an iPad which I use to surf. In office I use a laptop. I'm constantly on social media, either Facebook or LinkedIn, or most of my friends are connected on WhatsApp. We're constantly talking, and everything is instant. You know, we've got apps to order food, decide on the menu, what time. We've got apps to order groceries at home. I think, and I'll look at all my music or whatever other entertainment or content on YouTube or whatever on my phone or on my iPad. Yeah. So all my videos, movies, everything has become digital. So you've got to learn how to firstly be, you can't stay out of it and say, I'll think of an idea for it, right? One of my senior colleagues in BBH had a beautiful statement. He says, you don't need digital ideas. You need ideas for a digital world.
Since your time is divided in being a boss and then being a musician, how do you find time for your family?
Actually, music happens only once in 2 months or 3 months. Whenever there's a gig, so 3 evenings rehearsal happens before that gig, right? So it's not that music takes me away from home or office every day. It's only once a quarter kind of thing. Otherwise, for me, work, the moment I finish work, I come home. Sometimes I come home at 5:36, sometimes 7. If I have to stay late once in a while, there's a big pitch, I'll stay late. I prefer not to hang around in office if my work is done, because I'd rather come home and spend time at home.
So when you think of all the trainees, the youngsters who come into the industry, what would be your message to them?
Don't approach it as just a job. A job is what you just do from 9 to 5, and you can, but advertising is something that you need to feel. You must love wanting to reach out to consumers. You must love the creative process, the ideation. You must love having fun. You must love music. You must love movies. All of that helps you in advertising. Our business of advertising is changing so rapidly. It's actually the younger people who can make a bigger difference in a digital world than old people like me.
Well, it has been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for coming and meeting us.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.